The 3D terrain printing craze is upon us. It's no question that 3D printers are becoming a bigger and bigger part of this hobby. And today we're going to take a look at a company that sells a lot of 3D terrain for the tabletop that allows you to take those really cool printouts and turn them into something bigger for your training table. But a lot of people have a hard time working with 3D printed terrain, and I'll be honest, it's a bit of a mystery. I had to do a lot of research on it. I probably should have made this video months ago, but we wanted to make sure we got it right. And unfortunately, the weather is not cooperating with us today, so we won't be able to do an actual demo. Although we did a test demo, and I'll show you exactly what to do. But we're not going to go outside to do it because it's terrible weather here in the South, unfortunately. So stay right there. Let's take a look at one great 3D terrain printing company out there for the tabletop. Then I'll show you how to take that terrain and get it ready to paint on and hobby on yourself. I guess one of the bonuses to actually not putting this video out when I thought I was that it allowed Horizon Creation 3D time to set up their new web store. Originally they were selling just off of eBay, so that's really cool. So, you know, silver linings and all. So this is their site. It's horizoncreation3d.com. Of course, we'll put a link in the comments below so you can check this out. And it has a ton of 3D printed terrain. Now, Curtis sent me this, or I think it's this Biomaster terrain set here. It's a lot of different parts, and it looks to be this set, but I could be wrong. But we'll figure it all out together here in a second. And it is a bit pricey. All of this stuff, well, it depends on how you look at pricey, because Forge World used to produce something similar and you get 3 pieces and I think it was 150 bucks. In this you get, well, 29 pieces. And it's double the price, but it's 29 pieces. So remember, with all this stuff, there are prices associated, but there's other ways to get stuff for your tabletop that is, you know, in your budget. There's plenty of stuff in here that's low priced, you know, scatter terrain for 40 bucks. You've got all sorts of different components for buildings, which I thought was pretty neat, because you can just take this stuff and throw it on a side of foam core or throw it on a base for, you know, your flooring or something like that. A lot of cool stuff in here. Remember, it's all printed. You can really work this stuff. And what's cool about this is that it's ABS plastic, and that's the one that isn't heat sensitive. It only pretty much responds to chemical stimulus, which is cool because if you accidentally leave it in your car, although I don't know why you ever would, don't leave miniatures in your cars, folks. We only hear bad things about people leaving miniatures in their car, but it won't, you know, kind of melt apart and stuff. Now, when you break down the Biomaster terrain set, it has a bunch of different components too, and there's some stuff that isn't in it, like the bio terrain, tunnels and stuff like that. The pits, I think there's a couple pits that come in there. And you can just get, you know, the spires themselves, just a single spire from $9.50 on up here, and you just kind of pick which one you want and stuff like that. So, I mean, 46 bucks for 3 big spires. Normally, something like that, as we saw in the past from Forge World, was 150 bucks. They don't make it anymore either. So, on the secondary market, it goes for a lot. So, if you just need a few pieces of terrain here and there to spruce up your board, they got you covered. If you need, I like this stuff here. What is it? Terrain. This stuff's pretty, I mean, for just an objective piece on your tabletop, you know, 8-12 bucks seems pretty good value right there too. Not too bad indeed. And they always got the printers cranking. You can actually watch the printers work over on Twitch. Believe it or not, he's always got a printer going as well. We'll try to get that link here for you to check out. Tower kit, 3 packs with one. That's pretty cool. So there's a lot of cool stuff in here. We're not going to go through the whole site, but I just wanted to give you an idea that, you know, there's varying degrees of value when it comes to terrain. Yeah, you can go through Walmart. Yeah, you can dig up, you know, your rubbish bin, your trash bin, you know, safe containers, whatever, and it's super cheap. Or you can just pick this stuff up, get a whole table's worth of terrain, 300 bucks, do some hobbying on it, turn it into, you know, crazy Tyranid paradise, or excuse me, bio terrain paradise for your guys there. Affix it to whatever, you know, sort of foam or anything like that. Make hills, make valleys, make, you know, digestion picks, whatever you want to do. This is the basis for it. This isn't a you just buy this and put it on your table and you're good. You are still going to have to hobby, which is the same with most other kits out there, you know, that we pick up and stuff. So kind of think of it like that, like it's a kit. We're still going to have to do some hobbying on it. Now, like I said, Curtis sent us a set. There you can see his little note in here. This isn't actually everything he sent. There's a ton of stuff he sent here. And like I said, I think it's the big Tyranid terrain piece. I like this thing here. Now, these are just to kind of keep them together. These snap off, and then you can, you know, just go ahead and just trim it off and glue it together. It's kind of like a Sarlacc pit kind of type thing. I really dug that one. But this is kind of, you know, the quality you're going to get from the prints themselves. There is some lines. It is 3D printed. There is a little bit of, I don't know what you call that, tailing, we'll call it. That's not a technical term. You know, like kind of the deal with the print material. It's kind of like hot glue when you're going from one thing to the next with hot glue. You are going to see a little bit. That's just the way it is. Don't be alarmed by that. There may be gaps. There may be little weird fills and things like that. That is just kind of meant to be worked out when you hobby on it. Remember, unless you're getting a print that's a lot more pricier from a very high-end printer, you're gonna have to still hobby on 3D stuff. That's just the way it is right now in 2018. That's just a reality. But you can still get down to the nitty-gritty for a somewhat affordable price and have some really decent detail work here, you know, on with all the veins and all the little thorns and things like that. Now you're probably like, oh, okay, that's cool. Well, all right, I like to hobby. I like Tyranid terrain or bioterrain, and that's really neat. But, you know, I want something bigger. Well, this piece right here, I guess, is like a Capillary Tower kind of type deal. And it starts to get pretty big in size. You can see here compared to a Space Marine. It definitely starts to get a little bit bigger right there. And there's some two-part pieces that Curtis figured out how to do. This is probably about 6 inches tall. Yeah, that's about 6 inches tall and about 6 inches wide. It kind of blocks line of sight a little bit for the most part, but nothing too crazy there. So there's some of those pieces. Now, for some of the bigger two-piece, the super capillaries or the super towers, you've got this right here that's going to be, we've got some single pieces right like this, and then you've got some bigger pieces right here that can really get up there in size, depending on what you want to do. And these, it looked like you could buy these separate, and they just kind of glue together. That one doesn't go, that one. Yeah. So you just have to kind of snap it off and glue it together. And then you've got something that is roughly 11 inches tall, give or take. Which I thought was pretty ingenious because depending on your print bed size, I guess it's about 8.5 inches tall. This was a really good solution to print that out, you know, as far as that goes. So then you got this one here, and that one can get pretty big. This is the same one, actually. Let's see. Yeah, use the same one. So that one gets a little bit taller, but not by much. Now I know what you're thinking. Hey, I don't like these lines. I don't like the lines. I want to hobby on it. Okay, you told us you're gonna show us how to hobby on this. Or what's the deal? I don't like the quality of that. I want my stuff to look a little better. But you know, hey, I'm reasonable. I realize that right out of the box, this stuff isn't going to be playable. I mean, you can slap it down on the tabletop until you get it painted, of course. And you are going to get things like this, like cracks where, you know, something might have happened, or it's just the print didn't set right to itself. That actually is not a big deal once you prep this stuff. So let me show you how that works. Now, there's a tutorial online, and I will put it in the comments field right here. It's basically going to allow you to create a porcelain finish on your terrain. Any ABS plastic that, you know, you can basically enclose, you'll be able to create a porcelain finish where it actually melts it together. And this is called that vape trick or vapor trick, vapor fume trick, whatever. You might have heard of it from some of your friends talking about 3D printing. It's actually very hard to do. So some folks, they're like, hey, just rub acetone on to the part. That doesn't quite work. You can spray it, you can do whatever you want, but it's gonna melt it somewhat, but it's not gonna actually get it to where you want it right here. You need to actually fully enclose the part and expose it to acetone vapors. Now, acetone, let's talk about acetone. I just want to start out by saying, anytime you use chemicals, you need to take precautions. You need to wear protective, gloves, mask, respirators, safety glasses, whatever you want, whatever you feel is necessary. You can look up all the precautions for acetone, but the main problem with acetone is it's an irritant. It's going to get the fumes, the vapors can get into your lungs. If they get into your eyes, that's a problem too. You shouldn't go blind or anything like that. But again, do your own research. I had to do all this stuff to get this stuff ready and actually perform that trick that we already saw to get that porcelain finish. But to get the porcelain finish is actually pretty easy. You only need about $5 of supplies. So easy game, easy life right there. So obviously you're gonna need to go and grab you some acetone of whatever variety in your local country. Sometimes it comes in a can, sometimes it comes in a hard plastic bottle. It just really depends from there. And then you're gonna need to get yourself a gallon bucket pail. You can get these at Lowe's, Home Depot here in the States. Very easy to get. Then you're gonna need some magnets and just some paper towels. Very easy, very, very easy. And what paper towels are gonna do is they're actually gonna hold the liquids. You're gonna wanna make a little bit of webbing inside of your gallon pail here with paper towels. And the big part is that you want to make sure it's all locked together so that none of the paper towels fall on your part. That's a problem. And then you're gonna take the lid of said, you can also, by the way, this is also metal, so it'll hold magnets and stuff if you're trying to paint magnetized parts. Multi-purpose. Then you're gonna grab some washers about the size of silver dollars. I used to have another one. I don't know where it is. We lost it, but anyways, you get the idea. So then you're just gonna take your washers, very easy, put them on the lid here. Then you're gonna pour about, I think it was 1 ounce of acetone into this right here. And what it's gonna do is all the paper towels and everything are gonna absorb it. They're gonna absorb the fumes, the liquid, everything like that. By putting your part on these little washers, just like this, it's gonna keep it suspended above the metal plate. So it's not touching the actual surface in case any of the liquid gets down on here, etc., right? And then you're just basically gonna enclose the container onto this. It's gonna create a seal. About 10 minutes later, you just pull it off and you have your porcelain part just sitting there. You might have to kind of wedge these off because it all starts to stick together. But yeah, for the most part, you can see right there where the lines were. You can even see where the washers were, suspending it above this right here. And you got that great looking terrain right there, that ABS porcelain melt. It's pretty easy to do. You just want to make sure you do it outside. We didn't have that option today because of the weather, but I still wanted to get this video recorded for you all to show you how easy it is and to, enable everybody to get out there and get some 3D printing terrain, start messing around with it, because 3D prints, they're here to stay, folks. Now, there's all sorts of different 3D material. I just want to caveat this. There's a lot of different sellers out there selling a variety of different 3D material. Make sure before you use paper tray, you know what you're working on is ABS, because this does not work on anything but ABS. And some stuff is super, like, man, if you get this other material warm, it'll start bending and all sorts of things. You want to make sure you know what you're dealing with, make sure it's not susceptible to heat, and you don't ruin any parts on accident. So educate yourselves. It's time to do it. It's 2018. 3D printing is definitely here to stay, and you can get a bunch of great terrain over on Horizon Creation 3D, HC 3D. Tell Curtis, you saw the video over here. We showed you a little bit of how to do the vapor trick and get that porcelain finish over there. I will put the link to this tutorial that I found online in the comments below, so you can check it out for yourselves. There may have been a step or two that I missed, but I don't think so. And that's it. Happy hobbying, everybody. It's a brave new world out there. Maybe 10 years from now, we'll be playing with holograms. So if you like these features here on the channel, make sure you hit subscribe, turn on notifications, the very first to like and comment on all our videos.